Hello and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle 11 Grinds or just Razzle 11, bringing you another pitching video for today, the third day of the MLB season. We have a pretty strong main slate today. Quite a bit of weather issues to check into. Maybe not some postponements, but some interesting spots. So let's kind of take a look at a few guys that I'm going to be all about today, and then a few guys that I'm jumping on the fade train for. So let's get started with the fade. This one's going to be interesting. I haven't looked at projected ownership for him yet, but Brandon Woodruff. I know that the weather in Chicago is pretty cold, pretty windy. So generally, it's a good atmosphere for pitching. But I have some worries here. He made his first start last year in Chicago. I remember it pretty well. It was pretty cold, and he struggled. He actually struggled with his walks and strikeouts for his first couple starts last year, and I think it's kind of a theme with the Brewers that they take a couple turns through the rotation before they start picking it up. So just like being on what I should have been on for the Burns fade on Thursday, I am going to go with the Woodruff fade, especially at 10.3K. He's actually just priced up just way too much for me. So I'm just going to hope that his K numbers just aren't there right out of the gate. He may not give up, 7 runs right away, but if he just gives up a few with some walks, I just don't see him paying off his DK price point at 10.3K. And I think we can go elsewhere to get better return. The next guy on my fade list is going to be Zach Wheeler. Similar to Thursday with Aaron Nola, I just felt like he wasn't all that sharp in spring. They pitched obviously into November last year. I think that has kind of a hangover effect here. So at 10.1K on DraftKings, I'm just not all that intrigued by it. At some point, it would bite me. I'm gonna believe that he just starts out slow. Kind of did so last year as well in April. So I think there's just a little too much risk in it, and I can find better spots for cheaper, similar to the Woodruff discussion. And the third guy I'm going to fade, I don't think he's going to be highly owned, but Giolito. I wrote him up in the Full Count article. He's somebody that since MLB has, cracked down on the spider tack or, the different substances for pitchers, he's kind of gone backwards again. He kind of looked like he was this up and coming. He had a terrible rookie year, I believe it was, and then all of a sudden turned it around and looked like he was, a future ace and a top 6 guy in the AL Cy Young on a yearly basis. But I think that's had a pretty big effect on him. As we see, Houston actually has absolutely destroyed him last season, getting to him for 15 runs in 8 innings across 2 starts. So just Giolito is not a guy that I want to target at all. I don't think the upside is worth 9,200 on this slate. So if I'm fading the 2 most expensive pitchers and then the 5th most expensive pitcher, where am I going? I'm going to start with the obvious and Spencer Strider. I know the weather in Washington is conducive to the home run ball with the wind blowing straight out, but we're talking about a guy with ridiculous upside. As we saw against Colorado last year, almost 53 DK points in that start. His K numbers are spectacular. They do take a little bit of a hit on the road, but I think that's just minor for a young pitcher, and I think that's something that'll even out for him just because of his stuff. He did strike out 18 against Washington in 13 innings last year, and that was against a slightly better version. I believe 2 of those appearances came against the Juan Soto version of the Nationals. So I am going to go with Strider as my spend up, and that one seems probably a little more chalky. My second option, I think, is going overlooked. I'm going to go with Patrick Sandoval. I know Oakland is their lineup's terrible, but it's considered one of those pesky lineups that are going to get on base and try to steal bases and all that stuff. But I was really impressed with the way that Sandoval looked in the WBC. He looks like he's kind of taking another step forward. So I am going to go to him at 9K. And I think that 9K is a little high in general, but I think it's worth it on this slate. He made 4 starts against Oakland last year, 25 innings, allowed just 5 runs, struck out 21. The one big thing is we know that Oakland, the ballpark there suppresses strikeouts a bit because of the gigantic foul territory. So that kind of can limit the upside. But if he came out and threw 7 and struck out 7 tonight, I wouldn't be shocked. And then my last guy, who I'm getting told is going to be chalkier than I initially thought last night when I started writing my full count article this morning on site, is Nick Ladolo. I know the Pittsburgh matchup, Pittsburgh just sucks, right? And that might be the main reason why he's being targeted. I just love the K upside. He looked spectacular all spring. There's a ton of talk about the 3-headed young pitching monster for the Reds and Green, Ladolo, and Graham Ashcraft. I'm a believer in those 3 long term. So I am going to jump on Ladolo here, who struck out 11 and 6 1/3 against Pittsburgh last year. So the K ability is there. His home run allowed is not as bad as Hunter Green, which is definitely nice to see. He does have some control issues at times, which is worrisome, but I just think he's such a strong play. And let's see, he's a minus 150 favorite right now. The game does have a little higher total, but I am going to be all about Ladolo. And I'm going to give you a little preview about our weather station on DFS Army here. This is something that I utilize right away. I just want to know, wind ratings, and then the air density is such a huge thing for having the ball travel. So I check this out every single day. Mark does a great job putting it together for us. He gives us game time temps, wins at the start of the game, any risks that might occur. And then obviously the rating for hitter and pitcher. So, as we can see, the pitcher rating in Wrigley today is the best on the slate. So that's, that plays into my worry about fading Woodruff, but I am going to be high on Justin Steele. So I'll add a 4th pitcher that I'm all about, and it's Justin Steele, but I have a feeling that's not really a secret within the industry. But then we kind of look at this Pitt in Cincinnati. Not the greatest pitcher environment because we do have winds blowing out to center field, but it is cooler. So I don't know. There's some trade-off there. It's a gamble a bit, but I'm going to trust Ladolo a bit more than I would trust the Pittsburgh lineup. So with that is the end of today's video. Right now we do have a promo going on here at DFS Army. You can get 50% off your first month with promo code Opening Day. I believe that runs through Easter weekend. And I will put a link in the description below, and you can come check it out. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter. It's Razzle11Grinds. And best of luck today.